Welcome, icons, to our every other week webinar. Today, we've got a special treat for you. We got a gentleman named Steve Powers. Now, he's a former Mike Ferry organization coach. He's had over 86,000 one-on-one coaching calls. He's going to pour into all of us today. And we've got several panelists with us that are going to ask Steve questions. And certainly you can type into the chat, ask your own questions. Yet, gang, this is going to be action-packed. It's meat per minute with actionable strategies, tactics that you can implement and deploy like right now to improve your production. And today we're going to be talking about how to ring it out with your sphere of influence, with your past clients. And Steve brings a very unique perspective. In fact, Steve and I were out in Denver, Colorado a couple of weeks ago, and I watched Steve present to a large group of very successful realtors. And I'll tell you what, his perspective just literally changed the way that I approached my personal business. I took several pages of notes as I watched Steve present to this audience. He is a master of his craft, and I'm going to introduce him again here in just a moment. Yet first, I want to introduce our panelists. We're going to start with you, Mr. Jansen, Rick Jansen from Denver, Colorado. Take it away.
I'm Rick Jansen. I've been a full-time realtor since 2002, used to be an attorney, have an MBA in marketing, ran an independent firm for about 16 years. Consistently sell over $10 million in Denver.
Fantastic, Rick. Welcome to our webinar as a panelist. But next is Mr. Sean Paulisino. Sean, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Sean Paulisino, originally from Boston, living here in LA since the early 90s. Got into real estate in 2005. I personally sell 35 to 45 homes a year. And now a real estate coach, involved with Icon Producers, and yeah, just loving the LA life and selling real estate. Interested to see what Steve has to offer.
Fantastic. Next up is Sandy Miller. Take it away, Sandy.
Hi, this is Sandy Miller, and I'm in the Central Valley in California, in the Stockton area in San Joaquin County. And since I've joined this group, I am on I'm doubling my production this year. I'm on track to double my production. So I'm really excited to be here and seeing what Steve has to offer. And I just love this group. So
thank you for having me. Love to, I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to watch you add value to this audience, Sandy, because I know you're so good at that. Next, David Torgerson.
Yeah, I'm David Torgerson. I'm in Helena, Montana. I run a team up here. This will be the first year that I actually gross $1 million.
Woo!
Yeah. And I apologize for the background. I'm actually not this skinny. It makes me look really skinny. It's weird, but yeah, nope. I'm excited to learn some stuff from Steve. Happy to be here.
I want your background, David.
Because mine's not doing that.
David gives us weight loss tips.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Learn your background.
Last and certainly not least, the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Powers. Introduce yourself, Stephen.
Hi, my name is Steve Powers. I'm with Watson Powers Coaching. We coach mostly teams or high producing agents. I also work with my son in power line prospecting. And because of this great guy, Sean, about 6 weeks ago, I became a broker for EXP here in Florida. So thank you, Sean, for that.
Congratulations, Steve.
Well, very smart move, Steve. No doubt about that. Now, here's what I want you guys to do. Before Steve just kind of starts pouring into each and every one of us, I want you to go to Facebook right now. I want you to join our private group. It's Icon Producers. Now, you have to make application. We may approve you, we may not. Yet, what we want to do is make sure that you can plug into what we're doing here, gang. We are helping agents literally double, triple, quadruple their production. And guess what? You don't have to pay us anything to do it. You know, I'm just going to ask you, plug into our Facebook group, ask questions, get answers, send and receive referrals, share your successes, share your challenges. There are other agents out there that are part of our group that have been where you're at, that have done what you're doing, and they can help you shortcut the process. So please make it happen right away. Just go to Facebook and go to Icon Producers. Just search for our group. It's a private group, make application. And again, ideally you get approved. You can plug in with what we're doing here, other than just attending these webinars every other week. Now, Steve, talk to us about our topic today.
Well, the topic today, as you guys know, is what are 3 proven ways to get our friends, and I'm going to include family, to use us and not somebody else. And so the question is, why wouldn't our friends use us?
I've got a few ideas. Right? Is it a question you want from the audience?
That you're not going to like. Your friends don't use you because they don't see you as a professional real estate agent. See, we have a whole bunch of friends that knew us before we got our license and everything we did. And now we're trying to be their professional realtor and they have our backstory. So the way that we get our friends and family to use us is 3 proven ways. Number 1, identify who your true friends are that you don't want to do real estate with. There's always 3 or 4 or 5 people, your neighbor across the street who knows something about you that you may not like, somebody from your past that you still deal with, but you don't want to do real estate. We have friends that I don't really care about their ethics, although we're friends, and I leave their ethics off the table. I don't want to do business with them. But the big concern is we take those 4, 5, 6 people that have all sorts of reasons why we don't want to work with them or they don't want to work with us. And we need to separate them, because if we don't, those 6 people contaminate our whole list of friends who we don't call. Because if I'm not going to call this group, I'm not going to call the bigger group. So the first thing to do is to identify who are your friends that you don't want to work with, and you don't have to. I think there's like 7 billion people on the planet. 6 or 7 you don't call aren't going to matter. Don't let them affect you that bad. Next, take your list of friends and really decide who are friends and who are acquaintances. And there's a fundamental difference, Sean.
No doubt, Steve. Well, that resonates with me because I kind of view that, say I have a group of friends, like buddies that I'll golf with, right? I love golfing with them, yet I don't want them around my 11-year-old little girl. Does this make sense?
There you go. Yep.
So you got to treat your business kind of like that 11-year-old little girl, right? Who do you want to influence your business? And I love that perspective. It's fresh. It's something I hadn't really thought about before. So thank you, Steve.
And understand that acquaintances, I mean, I'm 1,000% at. They're just people I know who we have acquaintances because of a club we're in, or some sort of, my child is in their child's class and we see each other a lot. They're just acquaintances. And then I have my friends who I'm probably going to have for years or decades. So the acquaintances aren't a big deal because those are really sphere of influence people. So take your acquaintances out of your pile of people you're not going to call and put them in the pile of people you are going to call. Because I swear to God, they're not going to bed at night wondering what you're doing. They don't care. So then you have a group of friends. So the first thing we have to do with our group of friends is we have to start to act like a professional realtor with them. And what does that mean? Well, the simple thing is they all have a backstory on it, Sean. Sean, what did you do before you went into real estate?
I did all kinds of things, from drywall, auto body, roofing, a whole bunch of things. Just a kind of a rags to riches kind of a story leading up to getting into real estate sales. Yet, right, everything that we do prepares us for the next opportunity. No doubt about that.
No doubt about it. But your drywall friends saw you as a drywaller. Your roofer friends saw you as a roofer. My first listing I got was a wonderful gentleman, Leo Lieberman. I was 24 years old. I was going to school full time and got my real estate license, and he hired me. And he said, the only reason I'm hiring you, Steve, is because I know your dad. If I didn't know your dad, you're just the pissant kid that cut my grass last week. See, they have a backstory on us. So we have to, from this second forward, act as if we are a professional real estate agent so they can see us that way. So number 1, get your group of friends that you want business with, and let's make a plan to work them. Number 2, you have to dress, act, and be a professional realtor from this minute forward. You have to dress, act, and be a professional real estate agent. What does that mean? When you go out to eat, the least I'm dressed is business casual. My friends are going to see me. When I go out with my buddies and we go to have a drink, I'm dressing business casual. I have 1 drink with my friends, not 2, not 3. I'd love to, but that's too many, because now they see me as a guy who has 3 beers, not 1. Dress, act, and be, which is difficult because we're trying to get rid of our backstory, right, Sean?
That's right.
I want my roofers where you used to work to see me as the professional. I've changed. And if I don't change, then they'll see me as I was before. Dress, act, be. So we have to identify go ahead.
Can I ask you a quick question?
You
How
sure can.
important do you think it is to ask these folks? Like, I call it the magic question. I can't remember where I picked that up, but magic question is, hey, Steve, you and I have been friends for a long time, and I'm in real estate, and I'm just curious if you had the opportunity to introduce me to, let's say, your neighbor that was going to sell his home. Would you introduce me? Am I the person you would? And it's okay if I'm not.
So I love the question. Just change the end. Because whenever you ask a yes, no question, you always want them to say no.
Yeah.
But you have to design the question so the no is what you wanted.
Yeah. Well,
right?
The purpose of this question to me, though, is so that we know, because if somebody says no, you know what? My best friend from college is an agent, and I've used him already 3 or 4 times. I want to know, because then when you're in the top grading first part that you mentioned, where you're grading those people, I'm taking that person and I'm moving him from B or C to D, which is drip on and possibly delete.
And there's nothing wrong with that, Sean. I take a different approach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to prove to you your friend from college as a realtor is not as good as me.
Okay.
Because your friend from college doesn't go to bed at night dreaming about how to sell real estate, doesn't wake up at 5 o'clock thinking about real estate. 24/7 I'm selling. I'm going to outsell you on me. So the way I would ask the question is, I'm in real estate, Sean. Is there any reason, if you had a neighbor that needed real estate, is there any reason you wouldn't let me work with them? And your answer, of course, is no. I appreciate that, Sean. See, now I'm working my way in. I don't care about your friends. If you're on my top 5 friends that I'm not going to work, Sean, I'm not talking about real estate. Everybody else? Well, let me ask you a question, Sean, and be brutally honest, okay? In your market, are you the best real estate agent?
I mean, I feel I'm up there in the top. Am I the best? Probably not.
So could you identify off this call 1 or 2 things you could change to become the best?
Possibly.
And if you did those 1 or 2 things, would you then be obligated to ask everybody you know to use your service? Because why wouldn't they use the best?
True.
You're a heart surgeon and 99% of your patients got off the table. And my college friend, who's also a heart surgeon, 50% of his patients got off the table. And my daughter needed heart surgery. Would you ever let me go out of your office without signing up with you?
No, absolutely not. And it's funny you say that, because I use the analogy with people. If you were on trial for murder and you didn't do it, would you use your brother who's the bankruptcy attorney, or would you want the best attorney? And that's me, So, but I think this other person, I can't remember where I heard this, but the people that you mentioned, getting those people out of your database, that are out of your sphere of influence group, that are, sucking energy from the other group.
Sure.
And I just wanted to get your take on whether you felt people that are telling you up front they wouldn't use you because of this other relationship are part of that group, or you're saying keep pushing
And to
forward.
me, it's not, because I believe everyone who's watching this call is doing it for the purpose of getting better at our craft.
Absolutely.
No one is here to kill time. And if you are, okay. But
Amen.
I believe everybody here on this Facebook, on this webinar, wants to get better, to do a better job for their customers and clients. That's what I commit as a coach, to help my clients do better. I don't coach for the money, although I wouldn't do it for free. I coach because I want to make their life extraordinarily better by making them better and getting lousy agents out of business. And so I said, in my view, there's 5 or 6 people that are my dearest, deepest friends, that they have a real estate, they are real estate agents, whatever. I'm going to get them out. Everybody else, I'm going to give them the opportunity to hire the best. And I'll cover that in part 3. So on part 2, we have to dress, act, and be who we want to be. And what does that mean? You can't go to Home Depot looking like crap. My wife, she says, I want to go to Home Depot, get some plants for the front yard. Now, guys, I hate that, but I love my wife. So I go, yes. Honest to God, I don't like to have my hands in the soil. Okay. So she said, we got to go to Home Depot. I go into the bathroom, I take a shower, I put on professional business clothes. I dress business casual. And she's always like, Sparky, why are you dressed up? Because I'm going to turn in an aisle and see a past client. I'm going to turn in an aisle and see a friend. And my friend is going to come up to me and I have to look like I'm business casual. Because if I'm wearing pants that I was in the soil with and I've got dirty fingernails and my hair's a mess and I go to Home Depot, they're going to look over and go, oh, hey, hon, isn't that our real estate agent? Yeah. I thought he was doing better. I'll tell you a true story. Home Depot, we're walking through the plumbing aisle. My wife's gynecologist, Dr. Brzezinski, is in the aisle. She's like, oh my God, Dr. Brzezinski, because he's a client of mine. How you doing? My wife's like, we talked for about 2 minutes. We walk away. Now he owned a rental. There was an emergency. You got to go under the house and fix the plumbing. That's what people do. Yes. We walk away and my wife says, I got to get a new gynecologist. Why? He's a really nice guy. She goes, you see his hands? I said, honey, he was fixing plumbing. He'll wash his hands. No, we're done. And she got rid of him just like that.
Oh my goodness.
So dress the part. That eliminates a lot of the backstory, right, guys? The backstory of how they used to see us. And that is a real important part. As you guys know from earlier, Rick said he was an attorney. You want your attorney to walk into court if he's male wearing a suit, not a clown outfit. Dress the part. Anybody here ever showed a property to a friend who was sort of interested in maybe buying it? You show up and you're not dressed like you're going to sell the property. And what do they say? They say to us, you didn't have to dress up. You didn't have to put on a suit. So Sean, say that to me.
Steve, you didn't have to dress up. You didn't have to put on a suit.
Of course I did. I'm a real estate professional salesperson. I'd wear a suit for a client. You're my client in this situation. Why would I give you less? I just like that set the tone. I'm here to help you buy the house. I'm not showing it as a friend like it's a buddy thing. Can you imagine if your doctor did a half-ass job as a buddy on surgery? Really? You're going to wash your hands? I'm your friend. You'll be fine. Elon Musk said this, and you guys should really listen to this because it makes me sound smart knowing I'm re-quoting, but it's really from him. With today's social media, you can decide how you want to be today. And 6 months from now, you keep that going in all your social media, in all your image, and you portray that to the public, that you're a professional salesperson dedicated to helping your customers and you're to your craft. And in 6 months, that's how the whole world will see you. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all allow you to do that. Now, can I share with you the downside, Sean?
Please.
One stupid post in the middle, and you lost everything. There's no backstory on TikTok, no backstory on Instagram. You get caught, Urban Myers, dancing or sitting in a bar with a woman who's not your wife against your lap. You've lost 90% of your audience. So I'll give you an example of how your friends don't choose you for real estate. Anybody ever go on vacation?
Yeah.
You start posting vacation pictures on Facebook. You're not here to help me buy or sell real estate. Look at all the great vacations you're going on. I need somebody here. While you're on vacation posting live pictures from Disney World, they're not hiring us to list their home because you're not in town. If you feel the need to post pictures of your beautiful family in Disney World for the world to care, post them 30 days late. Remembering my great trip in August with my family. That way, nobody now doesn't use you. You start posting live stuff on vacation, your current clients who are watching you aren't going to hire you. You start posting pictures of you drunk on the beach. Your wife takes a picture of you sitting there with 40 pounds of extra weight and you're wearing your Jamaican spring bikini. Here's my husband, drank too much on the beach. Your friends aren't going to hire you for real estate. Dress, act, be. So the first thought is, does everyone on this call want to make a lot more money than they make now?
Yes.
Want to make 100,000, 200, 5, a million, 10? Then act like a person who needs to look like the person who wants to earn that amount of money. It causes you to respect yourself and your profession, to have your image. So the backstory of your friends is gone because they need to see you as their professional salesperson, not their buddy who got drunk again at the beach. And so I wrote down, guys, 4 main reasons why our friends don't use us. Number 1, kind of addressed it. They don't see us as a professional salesperson. I had the great opportunity, and I believe many of you probably have also done it. I coached my kids' teams. I made sure that my pants were pressed. They gave me a coaching shirt. I'd go buy 6 or 7 more. I made sure they were done from the dry cleaners. They'd give me 1 hat. By the end of the season, it's all scuzzy. I bought 10 hats. I looked like a coach, but I was always dressed better than all the other coaches. Dress, act, be. See, my friends' kids were on my teams. I never yelled at their kids how bad they were doing. Those are my clients. Some 7-year-old kid in outfield thinks he's on the Yankees. I'm not going to yell at him for just staring at the clovers. Nobody's hitting it to right field anyway. See, dress, act, be. They don't see us as a professional real estate agent because of our social media, because of our habits, because of how we talk. We're not scripted, so they don't listen to us. Number 2, they don't want to use us sometimes, guys, and this is a real. They're not doing as well financially as they appear, and they don't want us to know about their financial situation.
So true.
We've all been there. Sandy, you ever had somebody who had to sell a house but didn't want to use you because they didn't have any equity, because they used all their equity line and they're behind their payments and they're afraid to use you because you're your friend and they don't want you to know they're behind, do they?
They're exposing themselves. They don't want to do that. Yeah.
And it's a little tough.
Steve, I used to do mortgages. It's why I got out. Nobody wanted to share with me their FICO or their bank statement.
It's a fact. And so one of the techniques on that is to say up front, listen, we're friends. Okay, Rick, I'm going to separate your financials. The banker is going to call you. Her name is Debbie, and she's going to deal with all that. I'm not privy to any of the information. Okay, so I want you to know that your financials are between you and Debbie. And all Debbie's going to say is you can buy or you can't buy. And so far, she said you can buy. Any other information you share with her, that's your business. And that's a way with the friends for them not to think I'm involved in their stuff.
I love that.
That's a big one, guys.
Mhm.
So work with your banker and say, this is my friend. And then the banker calls you and says, Sandy, hi, I'm Debbie. I'm work with Steve. Steve said you're one of his friends. You're so lucky to work with Steve. He's the best professional I have. And Steve asked to make sure that he gets none of your financial information. He doesn't want you to feel uncomfortable at all. So none of this will be shared. And that solves that problem, right, guys?
Absolutely. Love
You got to
that.
train your banker.
Mhm.
And your banker can't email you stuff as a copy, but that solves that problem. Number 3.
Hey, Steve, real quick, let me just kind of touch on that real quick. See, because the smart people, they learn from their own mistakes, right? Smarter people or exceptional people, they learn from the mistakes of others, right? And so I want to just share with you a mistake that I made, and it drives right into Steve's point. Back in 2009, 2010, I attempted to do a short sale seminar in a live environment. Guess what? It flopped. Why do you suppose that is, Steve?
I'm not sure, Sean. I can't imagine anything you do flops. So
Oh no, it flopped. It flopped big time. I lost thousands of dollars on this particular idea of a short sale seminar. People did not want to go out in public and expose the fact that they're in a short sale situation.
there
So
you go.
they just wouldn't, and Steve's talking to the same basic point. So what we did is we shifted the marketing strategy. I bring it up because this may become pretty prevalent here in the next 12 months.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I
It
agree.
very well happen. So what I did is we changed the marketing strategy, changed the approach to a private, confidential consultation around short selling your property. And the phones blew up, guys. We got lead after lead after lead. So anytime somebody's going to expose their finances, they tend to just shut down. And I'm going to push it back over to you, Steve. Let's go into the next point.
And that's again, why they won't use you, because they are afraid of you'll find out their financial situation. They got to lean on their house, whatever. It doesn't matter. If I feel that issue, I'm going to put it to the side, show them how I can solve their problem. Because again, Sean, I'm the best in the business in my area. If I don't work with them, what kind of friend am I? It's up to me to get them to hire me.
No doubt.
Okay,
And Steve, you've also touched on kind of a mindset issue. Frankly, guys, you've got to adopt that mindset that you are, in fact, the very best. In fact, several of the scripts that we used when asking for referrals, just be sure to call me with the names, phone numbers of your friends, family members who are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, because we don't want them to end up with a weak agent in a weak moment. Does that make sense?
Perfect.
You've got to believe that you are the best in your market area. People would be out of their mind to not use you. And when you adopt that mindset, guys, then that competence and confidence increases in the process. And you're going to find yourself getting deal after deal after deal. You become a magnet because of that energy, that focus.
That's
right, Steve, back over to your third point. Go ahead.
And the third point is, our clients who have sold a house before, who have bought a house before, they understand that a real estate transaction sometimes gets a little tense. And so sometimes they don't want to work with us because they know that the transaction has some up and downs, and either they don't see us able to handle that, or they don't want to be involved with their friends if it goes sideways. And that just goes back to being professional and telling them you can handle everything. I don't worry about losing a friend over a transaction, although I've lost friends over transactions, but it's not my fault. I've had friends of mine who lied, and then we get near the closing and they don't have what they said they had to the banker, and they don't get the house because they lied. And then they want to dump me as a friend. Okay, I didn't know they were a liar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about it. They're not in my group of 5 friends that are going to be at my graveside when it's raining or snowing.
Amen. That's
okay.
right.
I did everything I was supposed to do. They didn't hold their end. What kind of friend doesn't hold up their end? But
Yeah,
sometimes they think because the real estate transactions are so tense, they don't want to be involved with us. But that goes back to dress, act, and be. Because if they start to see you as a professional, then they think you can handle it.
Mhm.
And number 4, this is a tough one, but it can be overcome. They know too much of our backstory. They know too much of our backstory. They know what we used to do, know what we do now. And they don't see the transformation. And that's why on social media, you have to decide if you're going to be a career salesperson and help a lot of people buy and sell, and at the same time make a lot of money. You need to, from this second forward, decide this is who I am. Now, it doesn't mean you don't turn it off when you come home to your wife and kids. I think I shared the story with you, Sean. We had Joe Bagsby on my back porch, and Joe said to my son, he said, your dad sold my house. And he said, yes, Mr. Bagsby, I know. And he said, your dad sells about 300 homes a year. He goes, yeah, I know. He sells a lot of homes. He goes, God, your dad must work all the time. My son goes, he hardly ever works. Because when I came home, I turned it off. But when we left the house, I turned it on. When I was on the phone, I turned it on. But with my family, I turned it off. So you don't have to be at 24/7, but the world has to see you as that.
You're touching on something that's critically important. I call this role versus identity. Meaning, and I think of a gal named Anna Clymer. Anna, if you're watching, please say hi to Art. Miss you guys. Yet they're old Howard Brenton stars from back in the day.
Nice.
We used to do the universities together and everything else. Yet great people. They built a real estate team in Vail, Colorado. Not a bad place to build a real estate team. It's called the Clymer Group. Right now, she shared this perception of role versus identity. She said, Sean, you don't understand. We have people come in, say from Europe. They're in for a week. They ski for the first 3 days. Their muscles are aching. They're sore. They're tired. And they decide, well, we want to maybe just check out real estate, just to maybe kill some time, right? And they stumble into their office. She's essentially got 3 days to get them under contract And she says, my identity, she's the type of person that's incredibly introverted. She said, if I had my druthers, if I could do what I want to do, I'd just go home, sit on the couch, I'd turn on the fireplace, right? I'd open up a book, I'd get under a nice heavy blanket. That's who I am, okay, in my personal life. That's what I choose to do. Yet my role requires me to be somebody different.
Right.
She's got 3 days. She's got to turn into a closer. Here's this introverted person that has to get into the position of actually getting in their face and saying, listen, you need to make an offer. You need to make an offer today, right? Because that opportunity, it's just such a short window for them. They're not in town for a month. They're in town 3, 4, 5, maybe 7 days. And she's got to close them right then and there. So get clear on your identity, get clear on your role. Who do you need to be to do what you need to do so you can have what you desire to have? Love it. Go ahead, Steve.
Perfect. Perfect. See, they know too much of our backstory. And here's a good example. I tell my friends, I'm going to still work in the roofing industry, but I'm getting my real estate license part-time. I think I can do a deal once a month, make about $5,000. What kind of friend's going to hire you when that's your backstory? See, we tell them too much. They know too much of our backstory. So when I'm asking you again, and I'll say it 100 times from this second forward, dress, act, and be on social media, in public. Don't tell anybody, well, I'm part-time right now. Who wants to hire a part-time agent? And honestly, I love part-time agents. I love people who are transitioning. But if you tell them that your full-time job only allows you a couple hours a day to work in real estate, who's going to hire you over that? Get rid of that. See, if you have a backstory, if your marriage is crumbling, and I say to Sean, oh, Sean, you aren't going to believe what's happening. My wife and I are separating. It's awful. I'm bankrupt. I've got this terrible hair problem. Also, my kids are failing in school. You want to buy or sell a house with me? I sound successful, don't I? See, the doctor doesn't tell you his or her problems. They ask you, what are your problems? Let me solve them. I don't care about the doctor's problems, or I don't want their backstory. I want them to be a professional doctor and handle my problem. So the reason they won't work with us is because we're too sherry of all our backstories. We put on social media, everyone pray for me. I have all these problems. This isn't working for me. Who wants to hire that? Why? How can I hire you when you have enough problems? See, we're hired to solve our clients' problems, our friends' problems. Our friends don't need to know about ours. Now, again, the 5 or 6 that you're going to share your stories with, and you need them. The person that you can call 11 o'clock and they go, you got a minute? I need a friend. If I'm not going to call them for real estate, I can do anything with them. They're in my vault. I can trust them. Everybody else, why wouldn't they want to use us for real estate?
So Steve, I have to ask the question. What if one of those people in the vault, the people that you share your personal information with, right? What if they want to buy, sell, or invest with you? What do you do?
I'll let them.
I'll let them. Clear on that. Okay.
Because there's nobody better in my market to help them, because I know their whole backstory. So I got to help them as well. But the difference is that in number 3, where I start to prospect my friends for real estate business, I'm probably not going to prospect them. If they come to me or they have a need, I'll help them. But the friends that are not that 5 or 6 in the vault, I'm going to prospect them. Now, we said earlier, number 1, we have to separate our friends from our acquaintances. My acquaintances are really sphere of influence for me. They're free meat. I'm going at them full time. My friends, I have to decide how I'm going to work them. For instance, let's go to David. You play golf, David?
Poorly.
Well, that's good. That means you get your money's worth. A real good person shoots a 70. You and I shoot 100. They get less golf for the same money, man. They're stupid.
That's a good way to look at it. I like that.
Get my money's worth. So, David, if you and I played golf together and you were a golf friend, and then all of a sudden I got my real estate license, and all I started to do was jump on you about real estate, what would happen to our friendship?
Never golfing with you again.
Because every time you see me, it's sales. I change too much. But if we still have golf conversations, and then every now and then I throw a real estate question in, I'm okay with that. Because eventually David's going to say, And so David say to me, well, Steve, how's the real estate market? Because that's what'll happen when we talk about golf, right?
It's funny. I was actually just thinking that. I'm like, I'd probably ask him like, so what's market up to?
Well, it depends if you're a buyer or seller, which one you're thinking of doing.
Both.
See, now we're going to go down that real estate avenue. But I'm going to tell you this, David, 9 times out of 10, you had no interest in real estate. You were asking it because there was a lull in the conversation. And in America, we ask about each other's jobs, like we ask about spouse and we ask about children. You don't really give a crap about real estate. So say to me again, that question, I'm going to reply and you say, I'm not doing either one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what's the market up to?
Well, it depends if you're buying or selling. Which one are you thinking of doing?
Oh, not thinking about doing anything. Just curious.
Yeah, then it doesn't matter right now. What are you doing for golf? See, because if I keep going down the sales path with my friend, he's going to stop talking to me. But he knows I'm in real estate, doesn't he, guys? Now, I'm going to call you 6, 7 times a year. I'm going to call you 3 or 4 times a year about real estate, but I'm going to call you as many times as I used to call you and not talk about real estate. See, I'm still going to have the calls with you, David. David, are you watching the Ryder Cup? And we're going to talk about the Ryder Cup, and I'm not going to talk about real estate, but I will call you at certain times of the year. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, David, it's Steve Powers. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, man? Good.
Well, you got a quick minute?
Yeah.
As you probably saw from your caller ID, I'm calling you from my real estate cell phone. I got to ask a couple of real estate questions. You got a minute?
Yeah, sure.
And I set the tone, didn't I? As you probably saw from your caller ID, I'm calling you from my real estate cell phone. And then I can ask real estate questions because I set the tone. Then I do my real estate part, and then I go back to friendship. All right, Dave, it's so great to talk to you. Now, let's talk about golf because I'm at work and I'm supposed to do a lot of real estate. But what are you doing? Where are you playing golf next time? I got my real estate part, but I kept my friend. What I didn't just hang up on, go, well, you didn't give me nothing. Screw you. Bye. See, I'm keeping the friendship and bringing the real estate in. And this is a case-by-case method with our friends, how we treat them. But I am going to call him 3, 4, 5 times a year from my real estate cell phone, which is the exact same phone I use all the time.
I gotta tell you what I really love about that is that that's initially how I would communicate with people in my sphere, the people that are closest to me. And so much of the training that I took in we'll just call it a certain period in my career, was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Make sure that they know that it's a business call, just in and out. And I actually do have a few people that, dude, they've ghosted me now for like 6 years. Like they won't even talk to me.
Yeah, because we didn't treat them with the respect they deserve for our friendship. We have a good friendship. We have an acquaintanceship. We have a friend. You're not in my vault. I'm not calling you at 2 o'clock in the morning when I get arrested in the bar. You're not that good of a friend that will keep that a secret. Okay. It's never happened, but I got a couple of people I think I could call. Okay. I have been called. I've never called. But see, if we do that 3 or 4 times a year, and staying with David, did we set the tone that we are a real estate agent? We want their help. David.
Yeah.
If we do that 3 or 4 times a year in our conversation, are we setting the tone that we are in real estate and we want their help as friends?
Yep.
I think we're losing him a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I think what he said was yes. Now I can. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Montana.
That's okay. So we're setting the tone that we are also in real estate and we want to work with them and their friends. Yes.
Yep.
But I'm also going to make sure that I do all the calls I would have done after hours. I don't just say my calls to David now always have to be about real estate. He's my friend. So that's the mistake we make, Sean, is we decide that our friends are going to work with us in real estate and all the conversations about real estate. And if we don't work with them in real estate, we're still not going to call them. Let me give you a hint, guys. 1/3 of your friends are going to use you. 1/3 are not. And the other 1/3 are on the fence. The 1/3 that are not, they're going to make up an excuse in their head based on reality or illusion. It doesn't matter. And I don't care. They're still my friends. If I learn after 2 years, going back to what Sean said, where I talk to them after 2 years, they're not giving me anything, Sean. I'll stop calling them for real estate, but I'll still call them as my friends because now I know. But in that 2 years, Sean, you will love me.
Hey, Coach, how do you overcome the perception you're too busy or you're so busy? I get inbound calls, or when I call someone, they're like, "Hey, Rick, I know you're so busy, but do you have a second?"
I have
It kills me every time.
Well, Rick, that usually means you're ending the calls with a sped up pace. Okay, Steve, it was great talking. You got to go. Click. And that means you always had someone else to talk to after me. So you got to slow down on that last half of the last sentence. You got to count to 2 before you hang up. So Rick, say to me, Steve, do you have a quick minute?
Hey, Steve, do you have a minute?
You know, Rick, for you, I have an hour. I got a day or a lifetime. What do you need?
I know you're just so busy, Steve.
Busy with what, Rick?
Well, I see on Facebook, you're always posting about real estate. You just seem like you're so busy, you probably don't even have time for another client, but I was thinking about selling a house.
So Rick, when you called, did I pick up the phone?
Yeah,
Is it okay if I do that for the rest of our life together when you hire me?
sure.
I'm not too busy for you, Rick. How can I help you? Pause, pause, pause. I start going his pace because they all do this. Hi, Steve, you got a quick minute? I know you're really busy. I got to slow it down to show them I'm never too busy for somebody who wants to list a house with me. That's what I live for. I wake up in the morning thinking, how do I find a listing? And this guy's calling. So Rick, a lot of it has to do with us slowing it down and being in control. I get this all the time. You seem so busy. Well, we have the great fortune, Ricky, helping a lot of people like you buy and sell their next dream home. How can I help you with yours? I hear that all the time. When you sell a lot of homes, and we do, and they say, oh, so you're always so busy. Well, we have the great fortune of helping people, pause, like you, buy and sell their next dream home, pause. How can I help you with yours? And that means you're the only person on the planet right now, right, Rick? That's
Absolutely. Love it.
That's great.
Totally present in the conversation.
That's
And
it.
going back to David's point real quick, that, people in your sphere of influence maybe ghost you. You're asking directly too many times for business. No doubt about that. And I want to reference Stephen R. Covey, the author of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And he brought to light this concept of an emotional bank account, right? See, I want you to imagine that if you're just calling and doing a direct ask, you're actually making a deposit, or I'm sorry, a withdrawal from that account that you've established with this person. And what Steve's saying is you want to balance the account, right? So you got to do some friendship calls. And every friendship call, you're making a deposit. You're making a deposit. My question to you is, with your sphere of influence, can you cash the check? Can you do that direct ask? Have you made the deposits at this point, or are you going to be overdrawn? Because once you're overdrawn, that's when they ghost you, no doubt about it. All right. So Steve, when I was in Denver, and I took plenty of notes when you presented, you brought to light kind of a mindset around current clients, past clients, and you talked about how the clients have given you everything.
Everything.
Can you talk a little bit about that for us?
I was talking, and I believe that the subject on that one was how to get more deals from your current listings and your past clients. And what I was telling that wonderful group of people, and the people were just as beautiful as the view, honest to God. We were somewhere in Centennial on a rooftop that Rick had set up. I had never been to a venue where I'm facing the audience, but I wanted to turn around because the mountains were behind me. And they were smiling at me, but I knew they were smiling at the mountain. And what my point on this was that when someone is kind enough to hire Steve Powers and they allow a Steve Powers sign in their front yard to sell their house, and they're going to pay me an enormous amount of money, it's an honor and a privilege. See, when somebody says to you, work with me and my wonderful wife and our 3 kids, and we want you to help us decide where we raise our kids, where we celebrate Christmas, where they go to school, that's an enormous honor and privilege. And yet what I hear from agents, oh, geez, I got this horrible buyer I got to take out today. I've got the seller who I can't stand. Be clear. When Rick and his wife allow me to represent them and get their house sold, I owe them everything. Because without Rick listing a home with me, I don't have a car with 8 airbags, so when my kids get in an accident, they're safe. I don't have a vacation home. I don't have medical insurance. I don't have college funds. I don't have plastic teeth that I get to be fixed at the dentist. I don't get to get a haircut by a professional. Oh, this one I think cost me like $4. See, your clients, your customers have paid for everything you have in life. If your kids are going to school and you're helping pay for it, that's because of your clients and customers. How can we not treat them with the gratitude they deserve? When they have a question at 7 o'clock at night, how do we not answer their real question? When they have a question at 4 in the afternoon on a Friday and we blow them off, how rude is that?
Mhm.
I watched a wonderful show with who's that chef? Gordon, what's his last name?
Ramsey.
Ramsey, that's it. And the guy was complaining about the customers. And he said, you bollock, those customers are why we're here. Those customers come in with their money and they want great service and great food. Your job is to give it to them because they could take their money anywhere else. Without the customers, you got nothing. And so what I was passionate about was when you decide that you want to be a real estate professional and you want to be in sales, then do it to 100%. Give that customer the dignity and the service they deserve because they have given me everything in my life.
Steve,
I have this beautiful condo because of them.
I love that point, Steve. There was another great point you brought up on that rooftop around validation. And it was something I had never thought about with regard to referrals. Can you touch on that for a second?
I believe what you were talking about, Rick, was the question was, why do our friends, past clients, and family refer their friends and family to us? And I'm a big believer in the night I get hired at the front door, I'm asking for a referral. And the audience went, and one of the nice people in the audience said something like, well, I like to wait till after I sell the house. I like to wait till closing. And my attitude is from the second you hire me, I'm asking for referrals. And so, Sandy, were you there in Centennial? I'm not sure. I apologize.
No, I was not. No,
So I'm going to ask you questions, and we haven't role played this at all, have we, Sandy?
No, we have
ever
not.
met?
No, we have not.
Okay.
Not even on the
Okay.
rooftop.
So Sandy, you ready? You know who the top 5 people in your group need to be? You know who your most trusted people in the group are?
Who?
Those that have or will see you naked.
Whoa, okay.
The tightest, nearest, dearest friends have all seen you naked. I don't mean anything weird by that. I mean, at the gym, when you were a baby, showering with your cousin in the tub, just your closest 5 people have all seen us naked for one reason or other, nothing weird. If
Right.
you haven't seen me naked, you're not that important to me. That's why I don't take it too serious. So Sandy, why does a current client refer somebody to us on day 2 after we list their home?
Because they've already bought into us. They've already signed on the dotted line that they know that we can, they've hired us. So they're confident in us at that point.
So they're happy with our service. They're confident. They think we can do the job. After we put the house under contract, why do they refer people to us?
Because we got their home under contract and they're ready to move on with their goals.
You provided superior customer service. You did a great job as a professional realtor. You called them, you kept in touch, you did the job. They're going to tell you all the reasons. Steve, I'm giving my friend Mark. He wants to sell his house. I told him how good you were, how fast you sold our house. And you're going to use all those reasons, Sandy, why you referred me. Yes?
Yes.
But that's not the real reason you referred me. You're referring me to your friends because you want what? What is it, Rick?
Validation that I made the right choice hiring Steve Powers.
Mm.
When your friends also hire me, you're validated for hiring me, Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
See, you go see the new Batman movie. You want all your friends to see the Batman movie. Steve, you got to go to the Batman movie. It's the best Batman ever. Oh my God, it's fantastic. Go see it. Tell me you loved it. You go to a restaurant. I went to El Camino Mexican. It's the best Mexican ever. Go to El Camino. Tell me you loved it. That's how Americans are. Yes?
Yes.
They want validation for their choices. So guys, if you're not asking your friends and family for referrals, you're not giving them the validation they require. See, I owe it to them to ask for referrals, or they can't get the validation they need in their life. I'm just doing them a favor. That's how I look at it.
That's great.
Love it.
All right, so hey, we're getting ready to kind of segue here into a Q&A in about 3 to 5 minutes. So I want you to think right now, what questions would you have for somebody like Steve Powers? Again, over 86,000 one-on-one coaching calls. He coaches the top producing agents, teams, brokerages around the globe, gang. And you'll have an opportunity. And I'm talking about the webinar participants, okay? You have an opportunity here in just a moment to ask Steve questions. Go ahead, Steve. What's your next point?
I was just saying that I do my job 100% to my abilities. And if there's something that's 98%, I fix it. So that when I ask my family and I ask my friends to allow me the honor and privilege of helping them with their real estate needs, I know they're getting the best of the best. And if you're not quite the best of the best yet, work on it. But even when they hire you now, you're giving a better effort than 90% of all the other agents. Honest to God, they're horrible. They're horrible. They're horrible. I can't stand them. My whole job as a coach, and one of the things I like about we're team coaching at Watson Powers is I'm able to get these 20 buyer agents to do their job correctly on a team. We can wipe out 30, 40, 60 agents in that community that don't know how to do their job. And not just for the money, which is nice, but we get rid of the weenies who are doing an awful job for their clients. And we replace them with somebody who's doing the job correctly. And that's you guys. That's why you're here today.
So a question did come in, Steve. Let's segue here real quick. How do you ask for referrals at that first meeting?
If I'm calling someone, and the phone is the best way. Remember, I'm going to say address, act, and be. So I decided 1 minute ago, this is who I am. Now my confidence changes. Ring, ring, ring.
This is Sean.
Sean, it's Steve, your friend. How are you today?
Fantastic, Steve. How you doing?
You know what, Sean, I'm so excited about today. You got a quick minute?
I do. Go ahead.
About a year ago, I decided to change professions, and I decided I wanted to go into real estate. So I wanted to let you know now I'm a full-time professional real estate agent. And if it's okay with you, I'm going to lean on some of my friends to see how I can help you or any of your friends with real estate. So let me ask you, Sean, if you knew of somebody that needed to buy or sell real estate, would there be any reason that you wouldn't let me work with your family or friends?
No, Steve, I can't think of anything.
Can I add you to my Facebook and my Instagram account so you can kind of follow along what I'm doing in real estate? So when somebody needs help, you know where to go?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, I might as well ask you now, how can I help you with your real estate needs this year?
You know, we're probably going to stay put for a couple of years, but when the time is right, I'll reach out to you directly.
So a couple of years. So let me ask you, because I'll be in real estate in a couple of years. Where are you going to move to?
Probably stay local.
Stay local. Will you be moving down or moving up in house size?
Probably same size, just on the water.
Oh my gosh, you deserve that. So why are you waiting?
Because we just closed on this house last Thursday.
All right. So let's do this. Let's stay in touch, Sean. And when you need a real estate agent, I'll be here to help you. Fair enough?
Fair enough, buddy.
Sean, how's your wife? How are your kids? And then I'll continue that for 3 minutes.
Yeah. Wonderful. Now, gang, when you do your business right, most of your business should come from your sphere of influence, right? And Steve is demonstrating masterfully how to control the conversation, how to say it with blah instead of blah, 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 right? Because you can talk your way out of a sale, it's for sure. And he's getting right to the point very succinctly. And you already know, if you want more appointments, all you need to do is create more conversations.
So I have just a quick question for Steve. So on the other, when you just take a listing and you are at the listing table, you sign that, how would you ask for a referral at that point?
First thing I do is put all the paperwork away. Then I get the key. And Sandy, how I get the key is after I put all the paperwork away, I say to them, so which one of you two has the extra key? Now, what they're going to do is they're going to turn their head and face each other, because up to this point, they've been facing you, right, Sandy?
Correct.
So when they face each other to decide who has the extra key, that's when I stand up. Meeting's over. If they're looking at me and I stand up, that's rude. But by asking for the extra key, they both face each other. Bob, you give them the key. Mary, you've got the extra key. Use the garage, you know, that conversation. When I decide I'm tired of them deciding, I make the decision. Bob, why don't you go to the bedroom, and get the extra key? Mary, would you walk me to the front door? So then Bob brings the key back to the front door. I've already got the door open. Now I got to check the key. My butt, and it's a decent sized butt, is already out the threshold. See, that's how I exit. At the front door, Bob and Mary, from this minute forward, I'm going to work 24/7 to find you a buyer. Is that okay with you? Sandy, is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
Thank you for the honor and privilege of representing you. I'm not going to disappoint you. May I ask you a question?
Sure.
Who else do you know wants to buy or sell a house this year? Just like that. I set the tone. I am their professional real estate agent that's also friendly. I'm not your friend who sells real estate. I am your professional real estate agent that's also friendly. And that's how I do it. I set the tone that that's how it's going to be.
I love that because you're not going to be taking up any more time. You're walking out the door. They're going to either think of somebody or they'll be ready for the next time when you ask.
Yep.
Love that. Thank you.
Got it.
And Steve, you'd recommend asking for referrals during every conversation as you update them through the process, correct?
Yeah, and again, these aren't my, if these are just pure listings, SOI, but my dear friends, I'm going to balance based on the friendship. But if I've just met you from a FSBO or it expired, I'm your professional agent who's also friendly. You sell the house and you're moving to Nevada. I've only got the time period we're together to get those referrals, because the second your house is under contract, you're not talking about selling the house anymore. You're talking about moving. I got a very limited window.
That's
Well,
right.
and during that window, because they're now engaged in the process, the reticular activating system is open and aware to anybody and everybody else who's thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Like I told this story a couple of months ago. One of my jobs as a parent, of course, is to instill a solid work ethic with my children, right? I've got three beautiful kids. My two boys that are older, I remember about 10 years ago, they're like 11 and 12 years old, right? And I get them up on the roof of our house in Colorado. And I said, we're going to clean out the gutters. So we got the hose, we got the, the thing to scoop out the leaves and all of that. And so we're spraying it out, right? And we're finished. It took us a few hours to get it done, right? And yet we have to run an errand after that. And we all get in the car, we're running a family errand, and the boys we're driving through the neighborhood and they're pointing out all of the houses that need their gutters cleaned, right?
Yep.
They've now opened their awareness to what's going on, and yet they've driven past those homes for years, never would have even noticed it at all. So when they jump into real estate, guys, when they want to list their home, if they want to buy a home, all of a sudden their awareness is peaked and they're going to, like a magnet, start attracting people to them that are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. They're creating conversations with their friends and family around what their goals or objectives are by buying this home or investing in real estate or listing their house. And how quickly do you think it's going to go under contract? All of those conversations just happen magically.
Mm-hmm.
Now is the time. Not after you've sold them a property, not after you sold their house. It's during the process that you're going to get the most number of referrals.
Yep.
All right. Love it.
Very true. Very true.
Steve and all of our panelists, Rick, Sandy, Sean, David, you guys, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to pour into these people who just made the decision to engage with you. I trust that each and every one of you took something away, whether it's going to shift your mindset, it's going to shift your attitude, get you focused on gratitude with each and every one of those people who give you the honor and privilege of working for them. Steve, what are your final thoughts or parting words of wisdom?
Real estate is easy. People want to buy, people want to sell. It's a win-win situation. I don't have anybody that doesn't buy a house, they want to buy it. And I say this, the person that buys the worst piece of home is coming from something that wasn't that good.
Right.
Okay. And so respect and honor that well, you wouldn't buy this house, but to them it's a dream. And the person selling, their biggest problem is alleviated of financial or deferred maintenance. It is a win-win. Rarely do we have somebody who doesn't want to sell or who doesn't want to buy. We just have to be in the middle, enjoy the ride, treat people right like you'd like to be treated. It's amazing how much business they'll give you because the competition is so bad. Why not be great at this job? So our friends and family are proud to say, I know him and he sells real estate and he does it right. Just do your job correctly and your friends and family will hire you.
Love it, Steve. Well, Steve, welcome to our family here, by the way, at the Libertas Group at EXP. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know that you're just going to add so much value through our relationships of icon producers, our group called Libertas here at EXP. By the way, if you're curious about that, feel free to just maybe put a post on our Facebook group. Again, it's called Icon Producers. It's a private group. Go ahead and apply to be accepted. Now, if you're not accepted, please don't judge us. Yet if you are, then just trust me, you're going to extract so much value from our organization. And guess what? It's all free of charge. So why not? All right, gang. Thank you all for being here. Definitely.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Bye, Steve.
Thank you,
Coming
Steve.
up in 2 weeks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Steve.